I'm doing this. Because you want to know why I'm doing this? Because I love you all. I love my subscribers. This is why I'm doing this. This is what if Deku was the nine-tailed fox. Let's start. You ever heard of natural disasters, chaos, power? Well, sometimes they're caused by natural things. There's things that happen in the world randomly. Other times, they're caused by a greater force. A greater force that not everyone really thinks that this happens. Once, not long ago, the world was ruled by shinobi. And this world was conquered from this war. We all know the story. The 9 Biju were the weapons of the world. So the world, the problem came up, the Akatsuki came in. One teenager stopped the whole war and brought peace to the elemental nations. And the Bijus were finally set free, now seen as people. But now, it's been a long time. Chakra has disappeared. The quirks have taken place of the chakra. And now, things are different. One thing is still the same. The 9 Biju are still here. There's still a massive amount of chakra, but now, they're looking for a new way. The world is changing. A threat is looming over. A threat that's happening, and yet again, one man decides to ruin it all. And he just doesn't give up. He must be sought once again. And this time, no humans can help. The Bijus have to solve this on their own. But how do they do that? Well, they can't be there now because their physical forms are too much. They gain too much chakra. They're beyond the strength that they once were. So, one thing only remains. Successors. Worthy ones at that. And this is where our story begins. A young boy, Izuku Midoriya, he was quirkless. The 14-year-old would only be one thing, a hero. What else is there to be? Every time that something happened to him, he was picked on. And the laughing stock. Well, nothing always stayed the same. Things changed. So when they decided, Izuku decided to save one person, Kachan. He tried saving her. Well, look where that ended up. Look where that got him. Dead. Or is he? He can't tell. The sludge villain that took over Kachan's body, which forced her to send an explosion towards him, pretty much killed him, or is he dead? He's not sure. Limbo? Probably. Between life and death? Maybe. What is he supposed to do now? It's all over. It's done. There's nothing that he can do, and all he can really do is just sit and wait. Or does he want to sit and wait? Just sit there and do nothing like usual? No, screw that. He's not gonna wait. But how? How can he save her? He's such a useless deku. You're not. What was that? Who's there? Has two large eyes would appear from the darkness. Large, they were blood red with a black huge slit. Their red eyes had power. Power that was more than he imagined. But there was also a hatred in it. Hatred in the look. And malice and malevolence. And a very dark hate, feeling of darkness and some sort of evil. But the eyes soften so a bit as the eyes will simply say, I've seen your life. I have seen everything. The very moment you were born to your so-called dying breath. Brat, do you want power? What will you desire this power if I give you? Izuku would simply look and say, I want the power to protect people, to help people, to save them with a smile on my face, like All Might. But yet the same man that you idolize very much told you that you couldn't be a hero, the fox simply says. Yeah, but he was just trying to look out for me. I can't be mad or upset at him. It's the truth of this world. And I have to accept the hard facts of life. Can someone who's powerless really become a hero? Because without power, I'm just a liability. Maybe if I don't know. Did something. If I had a chance, I would be stronger, better. But there's no chance that I can get a second chance. The fox, as then in the bright light a fox will show, the beast will be huge, blood red in color, as it would have 9 large tails. The beast had a appearance. It was large. Its upper body was a bit of a human, as very much the lower body was of a fox, with its head having fur, bright red fur all over, with its hands being humanoid, as with long claw-like nails, with the beast having large teeth that were bigger than any man. They were bigger than All Might, taller than, they were menacing than anything else. The fox had black lips, as the beast's red eyes would be connected to a black patch of fur that went all the way up to its ears, that were rabbit-like in shape, that looked rabbit-like in shape. The beast stood proud. Then I accept. I'll give you my power along with some bonuses, the fox simply says. Once we do this, you gain chakra along with my power. You also learn techniques from These are my last host. You'll know what I mean once this happens. You'll gain some of my memories, some of them, not all. Once this is complete, all I can say is there's a threat coming near. And we bid you to know that it's come close. There's no humans that can wield chakra that can help us. Unless we choose a successor, like how I'm choosing you. As the fox simply says. None that are worthy. And you must prevent it from coming back and destroying everything. The peace that we did so much to work for cannot be destroyed. Ezekiel would simply lift his fist up, and it's knocking against the fox's fist. I understand. I'll keep that peace. I swear. The fox would smile, as in a bright red light, they would disappear. Everyone was looked to see that the boy was gone, dead. His body laid there, burned. Only thing that was left of him was, well, his clothes. His body was badly burned. He had third-degree burns, second, third-degree burns all over his body. But yet, right in front of their faces, he started getting up. As then, with a red swirl of energy was emitted from his body, healing the burns as his skin was starting to heal. All the burns, all the scarred tissue, everything, from cuts to even old scars, would all heal right there and then. The boy's body will start to shift. His hair becoming more shaggier, longer, wild. His nails started to become lengthened, claw-like. His lips becoming black, like he was wearing lipstick. His teeth elongating, with two fangs poking out from his lips. The freckles on his cheeks would elongate into three marks on his face, thickening like there were they were whiskers like on a cat or some feral dog. The corner edge of his eyes would darken. It looks like he was wearing eyeliner. As he would open his eyes, the emerald green of this joy and hope was now replaced of determined, with a crimson red eye with a slit down the pupil, black slit. All that said it was in those eyes were malice, hatred, anger, and a desire for your fire that would never stop burning. As simply the boy would look as immediately snarl, "You let go of Kachan before I rip you a new one." Immediately he was looking at him surprisingly, said, "The hell? That brat, his features so changed." And surprisingly, with his red shoes, claws were on his shoes, ripping through the very fabric of it. "Well then, I guess I just gotta do it myself." As Ezekiel started to walk towards the sludge village, "I'm gonna kill you. You killed me. You get any closer, I'll snap this girl's neck." The girl looked panicked. She would be freaked. What the hell's going on? Deku has a quirk? When? How? Izuku immediately feel pulling out his red chakra. The red chakra surrounded once more in a shroud. The crimson bubbling energy was surround him in a fox type of shape. And surprisingly, waving behind him was one-tailed, at least being 4 to 3 feet long. And as Izuku would go on all fours, as his features would become more defined within this red energy, as Izuku would disappear, as he would look around. Where did he? Then everything was, as immediately a pressure would build. He would find that the girl he was separated from him. What? How is she moving forward, away from him? Wait. No, that's not it. She's not the one who's moving. He is. How is he? As immediately finding himself within the side of a burned building, from one of the girl's explosions from when she was struggling before. How? How did she do it? How did that girl free herself? No, the girl didn't free herself. She didn't have that strength, that power. That brat did. But how the hell did he do it? How? Looking to see the brat, seeing Izuku holding her, he would drop her roughly, getting back on all fours as he snarl. You're mine. You son of a bitch. I'll kill you. As the villain was simply slurred. I'll kill you. Making his way back towards the boy. The boy would hold up one arm simply, as in the red energy, a purple ball that formed. It was weird, as it grew to a size of a bigger than an average tennis ball, but a medium-sized ball. It was the weight of the size as it fit perfectly in his hand. I was pulling back his arm, preparing for him to come closer, as the villain would jump forward. Rasengan! As he would cry out in his head, as the attack would make contact with the villain's body. What next shocked them all. With a precision like there were no other, the energy ball just started to grind into the villain. As it grinded into him, he felt it. He could feel himself breaking apart. His liquid body becoming shattering as he would explode everywhere. The remaining chunks that were still kept together would find themselves with a huge feeling of impact because of the energy. That was no brat, that was some demon. As he fell unconscious, Izuku looked as simple looking at himself. He did it. He took down the villain. He got back. Simply as letting the chakra recede. As Izuku was to look, as the chakra wouldn't recede yet, surprisingly something would happen to his body. A change would appear. His hair becoming a different color completely. As the chakra was to emit as his hair changed color from green to red. The black shadows became more prominent, and there were two red fox ears that appeared on his head. Not similar to, well, the rabbit ears of the Ninetales that he knew, and one fox tail would appear right behind him. Huge. It was large, almost 5 feet in length. But the thing is, it wasn't thinned out like how the Ninetales was. It was covered in a huge amount of fur. The fur was just so large, and he could feel it, but he felt that his tail was thinned. But once he turned, he felt the appendage, the tail. He saw it, but then when he looked at it, it was just a huge amount of red. It was just spurring out like it was some tidal wave. As he moved it, it was a tail. It was long, 3 to 5 feet. 5 feet in length, if he could say. It was long, large, and he can move it pretty well, like it was a second appendage. As you could look at his features, as simply seeing himself. Is this his new look? I hope it's not. Izuku looked down to see Katsumi should be shocked by his look. But one thing, his eyes, they were back to normal. They were still emerald green, but there was a slit in the pupil. But as they weren't emerald green, no, they didn't look emerald. They looked more like a teal borderline blue, a bright azure blue, like clear as the ocean. Izuku's eyes would look at her, simply reading her to see what she think of him. Her emotions were confused, conflicted. She felt betrayed. Then hope. A small bit of hope. Rage. Jealousy. Anger. But then lust. It was the biggest of all. Izuku didn't know what to feel about it. The emotion that was lust or love was just ebbing off her like waves. The two would look away as she would only have a blush on her face, looking away. No, this can't be happening. Izuku was simple. Say, I'll see you later, Izuku would say. His voice was more gravity. Taking a deeper tone, but still the same. Like he was wearing a filter. Izuku was supposed to walk away. As some of the pro heroes would try to console him and telling him what he did was wrong, but Izuku was simply understanding his being as polite as he was. Just been the nice kid that he was. He made his way back home. Hoping to see that Kachan immediately he appeared as screaming out his name. Izuku turned to see her. Nerd, I didn't need your help. As she simply scowled at him. But yet again, she looked. He hit your quirk. Izuku was simply nothing. As what could he say? There's nothing else he could say, really. As she would turn away. See ya. You damn bastard. Leaving with nothing else to say. Izuku felt that she fell off. Making his way back home. He needed to get home anyways. Opening the doors. Once he made his way home, opening the doors, finding himself home, taking off his shoes, he would immediately find that, well, his shoes had a bit of a problem. Looking at them, it seemed there were holes in them, or, well, claws on his feet would appear. They were large. They were pretty large. Like, similar to dinosaur feet. Dinosaur feet with their type of claws on them as well. Izuku found that strange. What the hell? He doesn't just put that to the side as making his way to his living room as finding himself. I'm home, as he simply said as Cinco walked in quickly. Izuku, that the slow would brought him to a hug very quickly as simply saying, I thought I lost you. You, looking over him as simply saying how he changed. He looked more animalistic. It scared her for a second. Sasha to walk in as well, along with his siblings. The two siblings would look at him as simply wondering. Mitsuki would simply say, Izuku would simply look towards his sister. Giving her a look, said, what? Are you there? Izuku would simply look at her saying, yeah, I'm fine. What's the problem? What we saw on the television, we thought you... Sasha simply said it straight to him. We thought you died, Izuku. Izuku was surprised by the bluntness in their tone. Izumi quickly grabbed into a hug, saying, you worried us so badly. We thought you died. As the younger in her would say, she looked exactly like her mother. Black hair. She had a green hair that was going all the way down to her waist. Simply she left it in a braided ponytail. Then her other sister, Mitsuki, she had her hair similar to Izuku's, but unlike Izuku's, it was black with green shadows. They were darker in tone, darker color, darker green, that almost seemed black. If you just did look a bit closer, you can see the colors of green in it. As Izuku would say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you all. But Izuku would say, how bad did I change? Look for yourself, Inko says as she pulled out her phone as taking a picture of Izuku immediately and showing him as he would look to see that he looked the same, but the only thing that was changed is he was a bit taller now, is it? Maybe by a few inches. But the biggest thing he had was whisker marks on his face that were very wild. Wild, but still looked tamed. And he had large fox ears on his head. They didn't look like Karamas at all. They were more angular, like a wolf's, like the long rabbit ears that the fox had. And looking at the tail right behind him, it wasn't thinned out and smooth like the Kurama's. His tail was more bushy. Just bushy out, with the fur just laying, his fur just topping itself like layers. Izuku simply looked at the tail. His tail would swing back and forth gently, in a calm, relaxed way. Izumi was trying to pat his head at his ears would immediately twitch. And he would look at her with a glance, saying, what are you doing? I just want to pet you. You wouldn't mind. And she simply gave him a look. Izuku would look at his sister. Simply the look would only say, thinking about it, as he would lower his head just a bit for her to touch his head. As she touched it, his hair felt a lot more softer. Well, Was this his hair? Your hair feels so soft. Softer than it was before. Your hair has always been soft. Yes, but now it's just... Inko would wonder how her daughter was feeling how his hair was as she immediately touched her son's head. She was surprised how soft it was. Izuku's hair was always been soft and fluffy. That's how it was, even though it was a curly mess. It was always soft. But yet, even though it was wild and then spikes similar to how the OG Naruto, he looks like the OG Naruto with his hairstyle, but yet it still felt soft. It was wild but soft, but it looked tamed. It was still frilled in some edges, but it was soft. The red, like orange fur was so soft, it was comforting. But seeing the black edges in the fur and the hair or fur, Inko would simply say, we need to get you diagnosed for a quirk. Now. And she would simply decide as Sashi would just chuckle. Well, Zuko looks like it's gotta hold on for a bit longer. Yeah. As Zuko started to play with his ears, it didn't feel right. His ears were sensitive, definitely, no doubt. Whenever she touched his ears for a second, it sent a shiver down his spine. It's like a jolt. It's so soft. I can't stop touching it, she simply says. As she would pull him down to the couch in the living room, but Zuko had no choice. There was no denying it. Now he's in this problem. He's stuck in it. Mitsuki was simply finding herself his tail, and it was longer than the whole couch, completely. But yes, as she touched it, it was soft, really, really soft. The fur was red, but you can see in some patches, like there was layers of it. There was a bright red and a darker shade of red. It was beautiful in a way. On top of it was a brighter shade of red, and there was another layer that was a darker shade, like a dark reddish maroon. Then there was a shade that looked just a reddish orange. As she touched it, it felt so soft. Izuku was shivering out of complete pleasure. The feeling that he was getting here was undeniable. He tried keeping in his moans, but it was hard. His siblings were not making this easy. Can't keep it in. This is hard. Izuku would have trouble. As Zumi simply just touched his cheek for a second, and touching the whiskers on his face as what came out of it shocked them all. A very sound that came from the back of his throat. It was loud, heard by everyone in the house. They all stopped and turned towards him as a red blush came on his face immediately. As he immediately got up and said, I'm going to go to my room now. Quickly making his way to his room and locking the door. He purred. As Izumi simply says, as she tried to go follow her brother immediately, Inko was completely shocked. Her son just purred like a cat. Asashi simply closed her mouth in shock. You alright, dear? I am fine. I'm just shocked. Well, We have a son, alright? Shocking that our kiddo can purr. I wonder how perfect will he be with the girls. She would elbow her husband quickly as he would chuckle, hey, let's try to do a cat pun. Well, he's not really a cat. Close a fox, but he still purred. Not long, Izuku had a quick diagnosis with a different doctor. As the doctor seemed to be shocked, that shouldn't be possible. All records show that you're quirkless, but yet here you are with a quirk. So what we can pronounce is Izuku does have a quirk, but he still has the extra joint in his toe. As this is when he goes, we say, so, what's his quirk? He has an energy quirk, definitely, but he also has a fox quirk as well. They're tied together pretty closely. It's more like a kitsune quirk instead. A kitsune? Inko simply says, yes. It's probably shown a lot. And it's probably, we guess it'd be a kitsune because it's mostly, that's what mostly comes up with fox quirks, usually. So the more control he gets over his quirk and the energy that's within his body, the more tails he will get. Nico says, so how many tails can he, achieve? The doctor will simply scroll through his papers and simply saying, we presume about 7 to 8. Heck, he'll probably have 9 once he fully gains control of his quirk. But yet he needs to control his quirk because his quirk does affect his mind and his emotions, his mental emotions especially. Along with aggression, a lot of aggression, arrogance, and just a bit in viciousness as well. I think also should be worried about the aggression and how some of his quirk would affect his emotions and how negative it was. Anything else? We presume that Izuku will probably have a form of shape-shifting as well. But we saw, you said that you use another technique where you can use the energy in any way. You presume that he can use it in attacks. But also we presume that he can shapeshift into a more fox form. Or disappear, Inko simply says. We're not really sure. Maybe once he reaches his final evolution of his quirk. But whenever it does happen, it will show. Well, young Izuku, you have a quirk, alright? A strong one of that. Izuku smiles, saying, thanks, Doctor. Thanks, Doc. And they'll diagnose it as well. Izuku will want to diagnose the quirk, so name the quirk. And one thing came to mind. Can I name it QB? QB? Just 9 tails? Yeah, just QB. Or Kibi no Yoko. Okay, Kibi no Yoko. As you wish, as the doctor would simply say, registering the quirk into the database. Izuku smiles. He'll say, thanks. As simply, he would stretch. After the car ride home, he was tired. His tails would droop a bit, just a bit. His tail would droop a bit along of him being completely stretched out. One thing the doctor did say is that Izuku's hair became fur along with his tail, so he needed to take care of his grooming. So he needed to use, for things for like his tail and hair, His ears, he needs dog shampoo to keep it all clean and healthy. Because now part of his body is basically canine. So you need to keep his fur and everything else squeaky clean. Because he didn't want ticks and infections within his body. Izuku would simply stretch his body as coming out the car ride as it'll be very Vulpine-like how his bones would popping back into place as simply as Godianas, showing the rows of sharp teeth and canines, simply licking his lips as making his way inside the house. Simply, the moment that he entered, he would lay on the couch, as wrapping himself as he quickly sank to sleep. Waking as finding himself in an embrace, opening one of his eyes to see his sister. They were seeing his sister as they would all pretty much watching the news. Zuko would simply allow this new home feeling would wash over him. So Sachi says, how did it go? Pretty well. Izuku's quirk is pretty much energy-based quirk along with a fox quirk. Fox, like Kingston quirk. He can use it for many things. Also change the abilities and do other things as well. Attacks, techniques, and also different versions. You can also change into a fox, which we're not sure yet. He's also supposed to gain more tails when he gets more control of his quirk. But when, we're not sure. Sachi simply smiled. Well, whenever he's ready, he'll be done. Inko smiled. Yeah, he'll be ready when it's time. And now about his tails and his head, all his ears and hair, or fur, is fully fur. The remaining of his hair is now fur. So he needs to take care of it, and wash it, and brush it. Or else it'll get tangled in and it'll get knots. And I don't think I want that. As Inko simply says. Izuku would open his eyes saying, my fur is fine. I don't need a bath right now, simply he would say. You're gonna need it eventually. Well, we won't have any shampoo for me. I guess I'll take it tomorrow, Izuku simply says. No. Yes, I know, Inko says. We'll figure it out. Eventually. As Izuku would go, closing his eyes once more and preparing to head back to sleep. The very next day, arriving back at school, everyone was talking about him and how his quirk was. Most of the guys would only look at him very strangely, because, well, he can do cool, flashy attacks, what he did to his touch villain, but yet he looked like an animal. And the fox ears and the tail didn't really help. The girls only saw him as a very cute thing to cuddle up and pet. His sisters weren't really nice to hearing that. Even though his sisters were in UA already in their hero course training, yet doesn't mean that they didn't watch. This is when Izuku would only see Katsuki Kasumi as singer as Izuku would smile. Hey, Kachan. As simply the girl will say, what do you want? Looking over him again as seeing him, he'll be happy. A feeling of hope would only stir in her heart. Seeing him so happy made her feel nice inside. His smile was adorable. and she never again wanted to see his smile go for a frown. Izuku was looked sad and kind of depressed. Nothing. Just wanted to see if you're okay. Well, I'm fine, nerd. Now back off before I set you off. Izuku looked kind of, as his ears were sort of flattened to the back of his head, saying, okay. As somebody was talking a bit back, as understanding how she felt. She wasn't fond of him, understandable. As the rest of the day would go by, everything just felt the same. Nothing felt different. After school, things were just the usual. Izuku was walking home, but then something happened. All Might appeared. Izuku was shocked to see All Might? As immediately a symbol of peace, like, a young man, I've been looking for you all over the place. As immediately he flipped back to his normal state, as is coughing up blood. Are you alright? As Zuko walked over quickly as Sippy said his ears flattened against his head once more. Don't worry, young man, I'm fine. As All Might simply says, but yet, I thought you didn't have a quirk. As All Might simply says, well, I'm a late bloomer, Zuko smiled very gently as All Might was understand. What you did yesterday, young man, that was impressive. Something that no one would ever do on their own. Usually, someone would usually say their body move on their own. And yet you did it also. You didn't do it because it's an obligation or some promise. You did it because it was the right thing to do. You went up there and you just went to go save that young girl. And that makes you a true hero. Izuku felt a swell of pride within him as slowly tears started to form from his eyes. Young man, you can be a hero. Izuku started to cry slowly as, I can? Yes. As All Might was simply raised out his arms, showing as his hands was to glow. And I decided to make you as my successor to my power. Izuku stopped crying as being confused. Huh? As All Might reached up for one of his arms, as his hand would glow immediately with a rainbow color. One for all. One for all is my quirk. As All Might was such as explain one for all, the quirk was passed down from his mentor, from his mentors to their mentor, and their mentor to the previous mentor, and the previous from another user. Izuku would only look as he would see this as one thing. There's 8 users, and if he accepted, he was going to be the 9th. Something told him that to take it. The 9th was his lucky number. Izuku took it as me saying yes. All Might would smile, saying, well then, young man, before you can even accept one for all, we gotta get you training, as All Might simply says. Stopping him gently. With this square little body, no matter how strong your quirk is, you can't able to handle one for all, nor your quirk's full potential. If your body is this scrawny, and yet that energy that you gave off was so malevolent and filled with hatred, but it was so powerful, but your body could barely handle it. I felt it. I knew it could go way more than it seemed. Really? You knew that at the beach I could use more of the beauty chakra if I trained more? But this was my maximum. I could only control one tail. As All Might was simply put down an address and simply say, meet me here tomorrow morning. Izuku, not understanding as simply is next morning time skip. looking over where he was, seeing he was in Dagobah Beach. This place was trash. Nezuko yawned, finding himself tired, like no other. He wanted to sleep in. Walking down to see All Might as saying, "Good, you're here, kid. That's nice. I'm Midoriya. What we're gonna do for the rest of the 10 months here. You'll be clearing up of this trash." Huh? Clearing up this trash, but oh my god, I need to train on my quirk and earn one for all. But what about those will all be done in due time? But first, as All Might pulled it out, we really gotta get you a schedule. And this is what's useful. The American Dream Team. As you explain the whole schedule as it could not taking the schedule and simply looking at it. That's a lot of food. A lot of exercise, but I can do it. We're gonna add a bit of control of my quirk in some of these. Yes. The way that you moved was speed and power. So it was immense. A few days ago it was immense. But I saw you mostly did it on instinct and rage. Instinct. You were very animalistic, so I assume your quirk was more animalistic if you were to use more of its power. And I have a pretty good feeling if you use more of it, you would probably majority lose control of your power. So that's why I did it over here, Dagobah Beach, where it's easier. Izuku was not understanding indeed where All Might was coming from. Understandable, Izuku says. I understand All Might. All Might was smiling as Izuku was saying, "Do you have any family going else to UA?" "Yeah, my sisters, they're going to UA as well. They're going to be in the hero course this year. They did the hero course online. They did the regular course online, so this will make it easier for them." And simply All Might would smile. "Well then, we need to catch up with them as well, very quickly as possible. You do not want to be left behind in the dust, do you, Midoriya?" "No, sir." All Might would smile and bulk up immediately. "Alright, young Midoriya, then pick up this trash." As a simple piece of smile. Izuku would go off to pick up one thing, and immediately he'd have trouble picking it up. This might take a while.